Mahesh, please could you give us your view on this? Thank you.
Thank you very much. I hope I'm audible. The topic given to me is to talk about your heart in my hands. Well, I think the surgeons usually get this all the time, right? They have the patient's heart in their hands, and they have the ring side view. They hold the heart, and they know exactly what's going on. But many times, even for the surgeons, that's actually the first time that they're actually seeing the diseased heart of that particular specific patient. And surgical surprises are not uncommon. As far as we imagers and cardiologists go, we actually never get to see this kind of an image or this kind of an experience where we actually hold the heart or visualize all the structures in 3 dimensions. What we are looking at are workstation screens. We're looking at the 3D simulations on a 2D screen. That's the best that we do. So the challenge is, can we get the heart in our hands much earlier than the patient actually going to surgery? Because it would perhaps help us in the diagnosis, better understanding, better decision making, better planning of procedures, and maybe better communication, very importantly, between us as colleagues, as well as with the patients or their bystanders. So what is 3D printing or rapid prototyping? This is a technology which allows any virtual 3D object or design to be converted into a physical object. This it does by recreating the object layer by layer using specialized software and hardware tools. And this can be done in different types of materials using different types of technologies. So as we've already discussed, much of our medical imaging is actually 3D volumetric imaging, be it CT, MRI, or 3D ultrasound. All of it is actually volumetric imaging. So we have actually the potential to subject these images to 3D kind of conversion and creating prototypes. So the technology can allow us to create lifelike prototypes that could open up completely new vistas into surgical planning, both virtually as well as using actual physical models. And you can have bespoke solutions towards personalized medicine. So the 3D plus technologies, I don't restrict it to just 3D printing, I call it 3D plus technology in cardiovascular imaging, can actually bring the heart right within our grasp, both figuratively as well as literally. So when we talk about having the heart in our hands, this is a newborn baby with a pulmonary atresia with a double aortic arch with a double ductus. So you can imagine how complex the images would be on echo or on CT. But here we have a 3D print of this patient's aorta, and the double arch and the double ductus can be very clearly seen. So we have a physical object in our hand. But also here is a virtual object. This is the power of virtual reality, which can actually bring in a virtual model. The same digital model which is in the physical form on the left image is the same object which is in the virtual form on the right image. And we can manipulate it just as we can manipulate another thing by a physical object by hand. So the basic methodology for all of this remains the same, and everything starts with imaging. The CT, MRI, or 3D ultrasound, whatever it is, you need to get very good quality stacks of images, which are volumetric images. These are then, they are in the DICOM format, and we import them into a workstation which has got specialized software in which we segment out our region of interest. Whatever is what we are looking at, we segment it out accurately representative of the patient's true anatomy. And then in the next step, we convert it into a 3D file. This 3D file can be in a format that can be read by machines called the 3D printers. And when you feed it into the 3D printer, it actually recreates a physical prototype of the same. And once you post-process it, you have the object in your hand. No, you are no longer looking at a screen, but you're actually looking at an object in your hand. What if you could actually eliminate the process of 3D printing and post-processing? And instead, the 3D file which was created in the previous steps, you bring it onto a virtual reality or augmented reality or a mixed reality platform. And here you have a virtual representation of the same object, which you could visualize without going through the process of actually physically printing it out. So my personal journey with 3D printing started with this young boy way back in 2015. When he was 17-year-old, he'd been rejected heart surgery at almost all centers in the country because of the complexity of his anatomy. He had a complex dextrocardia, DORV, VSD, PS. And this is the first time that I used 3D printing to actually help heart surgery. And he was among the first children in India to get a 3D print assisted heart surgery. And this technology has actually, given life to this Brilliant young boy who has then traveled the world. He's been to the World Congress of Pediatric Cardiology in Barcelona. Some of you might have interacted with him during that meeting. He has been to the Mayo Clinic, and today he is a successful entrepreneur with his own 3D printing innovation company. So that's the power of technology. We're not just doing it for some fancy thing, we're actually helping lives. And this was the inspiration which led us actually at Amrita to set up our own 3D printing, 3D visualization, and now we call it the 3D Plus Lab. So let's go through how do we actually create a digital 3D file. So this is the workstation where I have loaded the data set of a patient with a dextrocardia with a complex DRV. And this is how we usually visualize it. This is an MRI data set. This is a complex DRV with a very complex ventricular relationship. It is superior inferior in some slices. It is side by side in some other slices. So we first bring this into the workstation and then we segment it out. So we take out the heart from the rest of the structures that are of not of importance to us. Once we segmented it out, we go to the next step and convert it into until this moment is just an image. Then we convert it into a digital 3D file. Now, as Saurabh pointed out, many times in the heart, we want to look inside, right? So the software allows us to actually create a hollow out of this particular heart. So because initially when we segmented, it was a voluminogram. And if you create a cast around this voluminogram and then subtract that voluminogram, you actually get a hollow heart model. So now we have a hollow heart model, which we can manipulate in any which way. And this is no longer an image. It is an actually manipulatable 3D file, which can be outputted onto a 3D printer. So in the last step of this process, we export this file out as an STL file to a 3D printer. And once we've done that, we would actually get this. What was previously just seen as an image on the screen is now an object in our hands, and we can actually look inside the heart. Now, the same heart has been printed in two different materials. The material on the left is one where we can actually use a scalpel and cut through and do a mock surgery. And you can actually see inside, you can look at the VSU, you can look at the structures between all these structures. And if you see here, there is a red mark on this model, which is actually the place where the surgeon would like to place his incision to do the repair. This is another case where we are again looking at the raw data as we would actually look at usually. This is a CT data set. And this, as we segment further, we realize that this is a case of an LPA sling. And this is how we would have usually visualized. Now I'm segmenting out a region of interest and creating a virtual or digital 3D model. Now I've come to the stage where I can actually create a virtual digital 3D model of this anatomy. So I've segmented out the trachea separately, the heart separately, and we can clearly see the compression of the trachea by the LPA sling. So until this moment, again, this is a digital object, and now it is ready to be outputted into a 3D printer. And here is a 3D printer actually printing out this very specific model. And post that, we have this model in our hand. Now, how different this is from just looking at this image on a screen, even with the 3D rendering, versus actually having it in our own hands. And this is absolutely 1:1 scale. So you suddenly realize, oh my God, how small is the heart? How small are these structures? So how are we going to plan the surgery? It's a huge learning experience when we actually handle these models in our own hands. This is a child with an absent sternum. And here we created a digital 3D file of his entire rib cage. This is again a very difficult surgical problem to deal with, right? So we created a digital file. We printed out a model of his rib cage, use this model to plan the surgery, to communicate between the team members, which included plastic surgeons, communicate with the family. And we planned a surgery where we would actually put an allograft of a part of the 7th rib to bridge this gap. And this is what we executed after multiple simulated surgeries using the same 3D print. We eventually executed this surgery, and this child is now doing gorgeous. She's now 3 years old. So these are all real cases where the technology actually saves a life or makes a big difference to lives. This is a difficult case of PDA stenting where it was a very tortuous aorta, and we were not getting a very clear impression on our echo or on CT also as to what would be the lie of the stent. And the 3D print really guided us in exactly predicting how to approach it and how to stent this particular vessel. So handling a 3D model is a very immersive and a very tactile experience. You can really understand the shape, form, size, orientation of these structures in the 3D visual space. It is like real, and you can adapt clearly to patient-specific details. So at our center, we've been using a an array of complex procedures assisted by 3D prints, operating crisscross hearts, LPS slings, complex corrected transpositions, double aortic arches, complex TAPVCs, MAPCA unifocalizations, Abernethy closures, etc. And our fellows have been, so each time when we use this data set to create a model, it stays in our morphology library, and our fellows are able to use these to actually understand morphology, really understand what a double outlet right ventricle or an anatomically corrected malposition of great arteries actually looks like. So it is an invaluable learning tool. So while physical 3D printing has its advantages in being fabulously realistic and tactile and immersive, but it is time consuming. It requires its machines, materials, post-processing, etc. So this is where we can take advantage of the digital files that we have, because as I said, before printing out each of these is actually a digital file. So what if we could actually bring each of these digital files into a VR environment? We could actually manipulate them infinite number of times without actually having to physically handle them. So this is a really complex cardiac anomaly called the topsy-turvy heart, where the whole heart is rotated clockwise and the great vessels arising deep down in the thorax. And this patient also had nape window. This is an incredibly complex lesion, even for the most experienced cardiac imagers to really understand while looking at the CT. And this is where I'm trying to segment this. It's a complex model, so I'm segmenting it out and creating the 3D model of this particular patient. And once the model is ready, as usual, I export it out on an STL format, but this time instead of printing, I've just brought it out into virtual reality. So this is me, this is Brijesh, my cardiac surgeon, and we actually don't have the physical model in front of us. We never printed it out, but we still have it in our hands. And we are using game handlers or these very simple tools which actually kids use to play VR games. We're using the same equipment. Now these equipment are not very expensive either, but we use it to interact with these images in a very, very immersive three-dimensional way. See, I'm plucking the heart out of the chest, looking at it from back. I mean, this is a perspective that you could never get with any other form of visualization, and really deeply enhances our understanding. And these are the other ways in which we are able to manipulate these images. We can dissect them, we can cut them through like Saurabh showed, we can take out parts. We're literally handling these objects as if they were a physical object in our hands. Today, even the segmentation is possible to be done on virtual reality using specified tools. So this is where we are using medical images to create virtual 3D files, which can either be physically 3D printed out or brought out into extended reality platforms for a range of applications, not just in cardiology, but across specialties. So when we hold the heart in our hands, physically or virtually, we experience imaging data in a completely new way. This is immersive, intuitive, experiential, and really enhances our understanding. We get freed from jargon and classifications, even workstations and even geographical locations. A digital file that I create here can be visualized by somebody sitting, say, in Africa or in South America by just putting on a headset. And this technology makes us better physicians, helping us make better decisions for our patients. And I'm sure this would become standard of care in coming times. And there are infinite potentials for the medicine of the future. So in the future, we will have biological 3D printing also coming in. So until then, thank you and stay safe.